Imagine waking up tomorrow and every car is just gone. No Uber, no road trips, no quick runs to Taco Bell. Just you, a very confused horse, and a 15-mile walk to the nearest store. For 99.9% of human history, that was the reality. In the late 1800s, the world had a horse-apocalypse problem. In New York City alone, horses dropped thousands of tons of manure daily. It was a smelly, slow, and expensive way to live. If you wanted to go somewhere fast, you needed to be a millionaire or have a death wish. Then came Henry Ford. Now, before you hit the skip button thinking this is a boring history lecture, stop. This isn't just about a guy in a suit. This is a story about a massive failure who became a billionaire, a man who literally changed how your brain perceives distance, and a company that survived world wars, the Great Depression, and some truly embarrassing design choices. Ford's story is full of lessons. Not just business lessons, but how to not let the world break you lessons. From the roar of the flathead V8 to the silence of the electric lightning. Let's talk about how the blue oval built the world we live in. Henry Ford wasn't a born genius who got it right the first time. In fact, he was a farm boy who hated farming. He spent his nights in a tiny shed, tinkering with gasoline buggies. In 1896, he finished his first vehicle, the quadricycle. Here's a fun fact. He built it so large he couldn't get it out of the shed. He literally had to take an axe and smash his own brick wall to get it onto the street. The lesson: sometimes you have to break things to move forward. But Henry's business skills? They were not great. His first company, the Detroit Automobile Company, went bankrupt in 1901. Why? Because Henry was a perfectionist. He kept trying to improve the cars instead of actually selling them. His second attempt? He got into a massive ego battle with his investors and got kicked out of his own company. Imagine getting fired from a company that has your name on the building. That company was later renamed Cadillac. Yeah, Henry's failure literally created his biggest competitor. To save his name, he built a monster racing car called the 999. It was terrifying. No bodywork, just a massive engine and a steering bar. He hired a daredevil named Barney Oldfield, who had never driven a car before, to race it. They won by a mile. That one gave Henry the street cred to start Ford Motor Company in 1903 with just $28,000 in the bank. In 1908, the world changed. The Model T arrived. It wasn't fast. It topped out at about 45 miles per hour. It wasn't pretty, but it was tough as a farm mule. Henry's vision was simple, a car for the great multitude. At the time, cars were toys for the rich. A car might cost $3,000 when the average worker made $500 a year. Henry wanted to flip the script, but the real magic wasn't the car, it was how he built it. In 1913, Ford introduced the moving assembly line. Before this, it took 12.5 hours to build one car. After the line was perfected, 93 minutes. By 1925, Ford was pumping out a finished car every 15 seconds. Think about that. You could walk into a dealership with $260, about the price of a mid-range smartphone today, and drive away in a brand new car. But people hated the work. It was boring. It was brain rot before the internet. To stop his workers from quitting, Ford introduced the $5 day in 1914. He doubled the average wage overnight. The world thought he was a communist. Wall Street thought he was crazy. But Henry knew something they didn't. If his workers made more money, they could actually afford to buy the cars they were building. The lesson: success isn't just about the product. It's about the people who make it. We often forget that Ford almost died in the 1940s. Henry Ford was getting old and stubborn. He didn't want to change the Model T, and Chevrolet was starting to eat his lunch. Then, World War II hit. Ford stopped making cars entirely. They built a massive factory called Willow Run. It was the largest room in the world at the time. Their goal? To build the B-24 Liberator bomber. The stats: critics said Ford couldn't build planes like cars. Ford's response? They built one giant bomber every hour. They produced over 8,600 planes in total. When the war ended, Henry's grandson, Henry Ford II, took over. The company was losing $10 million a month. It was a sinking ship. Henry II hired a group of former military logistics experts known as the Whiz Kids. They used data and math to save the company. No matter how big you are, you have to stay organized. Data doesn't lie, even when your ego does. Fast forward to the 1960s. Ford was a grandpa brand. They needed main character energy. In 1964, they released the Mustang. They expected to sell 100,000 in the first year. They sold 418,000. It was the first car designed specifically for the youth. It was customizable, it was loud, and it looked like it was moving even when it was parked. But the ultimate Ford story is the GT40. In 1963, Henry Ford II tried to buy Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari agreed, then backed out at the last second and insulted Henry's heritage. Henry Ford II didn't just get mad, he got even. He gave his team a blank check and told them to build a car that would humiliate Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It took 3 years of failure and literal explosions, but in 1966, the Ford GT40 took first, second, and third place. They didn't just beat Ferrari, they broke them. Sometimes, spite is the best fuel for innovation. If someone says you can't do it, build something that goes 210 miles per hour and prove them wrong. We can't talk about Ford without the F-Series. For over 47 years, the F-150 has been the best-selling truck in America. Why? Because it's a tool that evolved. From a simple farm truck to a luxury office on wheels that can tow 14,000 pounds. Today, Ford is facing its biggest challenge yet, the shift to electric vehicles. They're betting the Mustang and F-150 names on it. Some people hate it, some people love it. But Ford's history shows they aren't afraid to take a massive L to find a massive W. Remember the Edsel? The car that lost them $250 million because it looked like a toilet seat? Yeah, they survived that too. So what's the final lesson? 1. Failure is a beta test. Henry failed twice before he changed the world. 2. Take care of the team. The $5 day changed the middle class forever. Ford isn't just a car company. It's a 120-year-long experiment in grit. Whether you're into classic muscle or the future of tech, the blue oval proves that as long as you keep tinkering in your shed, anything is possible. What's your favorite Ford? Are you a classic 1965 fastback fan? Or are you waiting for the next generation of Raptor? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about the machines that built our world. I'm out. Peace.